What's up, everybody? It's your man, Dame D, NYDC, two mics up. You know what it is. It's Monday night. Brand new episode. And look, I'm excited. And I can't even tell you, the energy is electric. Tonight's guest, she is beyond electric. You've seen her in various things. You know, we're talking about a woman who is multi-talented, multifaceted. And she's really coming from a space and place that, you know, if you really get to watch her and follow her, a lot of things that she speaks about and talks about, we're all dealing with, and it really comes from a safe space, if you will, but it really comes from the heart. This is one of the most genuine individuals that, without even knowing, but if you follow and you watch, uh, is beyond genuine. And you know, a lot of times when we start these shows, you know, I like to tease, but I'm going to stop the tease, and I'm going to go ahead and bring tonight's guest to the other mic. Ladies and gentlemen, please say hello to tonight's guest, Aliyah O'Brien. Aliyah, please take a moment, because I'm not even going to try to introduce you, but that smile and everything says it all. So please take a moment and introduce yourself to our audience.
Damon, thank you for those lovely words. Honestly, I got teary just hearing your reflection of me, and just how you shared that I endeavor to come from the heart, and that is truly what I'm here for in this lifetime. And so, yeah, that is who I am. I'm an actress who really is just, for, you know, at the risk of being esoteric and spiritual, the soul having a human experience, trying to have the best freaking human experience I possibly can, and inspire and help others to also have that delicious human experience.
And you know, I love that really about you. And I want to just dive in as we get started. I want to dive in really deeper because, you know, you use delicious and you use that human experience, but that comes from somewhere, Leah. And you know, where for you, first of all, let's talk, where are you from? And at your core, what are you all about?
Well, so I was born and raised in Victoria, BC, Canada. I have Spanish roots, which I think are my most favorite part of my ancestry. That's where the juicy comes from. But I think I've always had a desire to play and to express and to be my full self, while at the same time having so much fear and shyness around being my full self. And so my journey has been peeling back those layers and liberating myself to show up truly. And that's what I really care about for myself and for others. And so, yeah, it's, you know, that the drive comes from both the desire and the challenge of not feeling safe too.
You know, so it's interesting. So when you speak, you know, as a Latina and Spanish roots, and kind of trying to find yourself. Sometimes as a Latino, as a Puerto Rican, as sometimes we in our culture, sometimes we hide behind masculinity and different types of things. Do you think that may have been, because again, being proud of that is, it's amazing, but there are culturally some hurdles that, you know, we've had to deal with. Do you think that was part of in your early days?
You know what? I would love to sort of attribute it to that, but I honestly think that, you know, I think I probably grew up mostly like white presenting and didn't have to deal with racial challenges. I think that certainly I can relate to the struggle of sort of growing up in the patriarchy and feeling like I have so much to prove as a woman, but also just like not even as a woman or as a man, like the nature of our society now is about like success, hustle, you know, be this. Oh, it's always more. And I think we all innately have a not enough struggle You know, like
Yeah.
there's all of us at somewhere in our core feel not worthy in some area of our life, feel not lovable in some way. And that for me is the human struggle that
Mm,
I feel like we all can relate to in some
we
way.
can all relate to. Yeah. That's really interesting too then. So kind of dealing with coming out, like was that something, or well, first of all, did that lead into you getting into acting, and does that help you, or did that help you early on mask, or kind of you could be something that you really weren't and
Mm.
kind of play around with it, like how did that all play out for you early on in your acting career?
Yes, early on, in junior high and high school, I did like musicals and stuff like that, and
Mm-hmm.
that for me was like this safe place to be so expressive and play and show up and be shiny. And it wasn't until later in life when I re-explored acting, just again for fun,
Mm-hmm.
that I discovered the aliveness that I felt
Mm,
because I was being given these scenes that were like intense, and I felt all of this aliveness to explore parts of a character, which were in essence parts of myself.
mm-hmm.
And that aliveness really inspired me to have more of that experience. But it's been through the journey of making acting my career
Mm-hmm.
that, my god, it shows me time and time again where I'm still playing small, where I'm still scared to shine, where I'm still showing up and feeling like they're going to fire me, I'm not enough, like,
Really?
oh god, yeah. It's I am
Really?
textbook imposter syndrome. Oh yeah, it's like, but it's
Really?
evolving. It's a journey.
Right.
Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I know. People are always like, you're not, you're not shy, you're not, and I'm
Right.
telling you, the inner experience is, at times has been crippling in the past.
Wow.
Yeah.
And again, and this is what I really love about this, like having the opportunity, because we as fans, we sit here on the side and we think like, wow, they make it look so easy, and to hear, to this day that you still hold and interfere about, the work or the craft or the character that you're cultivating or creating in front of others, it's still like to your core, you still doubt yourself,
Oh
and
yeah.
that's amazing to me, because again, the reason why I bring this up, because I saw you talk about something the other in a post, and I have to be honest, like again, as a fan, and when people see you, you are an attractive woman, you're a gorgeous woman. So in society, we place elements on those things, right? So
Mhm.
when people see you, oh man, she's so good looking, she can't be afraid, she walks into a room and the whole room stop, so to hear you say that, so I'm curious to know, how do you still then get over that fear? Because I think if anybody's watching this, I really want them to walk away is like, what do you do, or how do you
Mhm.
attack that fear to get
Mhm.
over those things? Because I think that's really important for people to hear.
Yeah, and I mean, I'd be lying if I said it hasn't been like a real lifelong journey. Like
Hmm.
there's been, anything from therapy to just working with different coaches to, I mean, tons of courses,
Hmm.
online, offline, audiobooks, like so many different rituals and practices. I think if I was to offer something um, that people can actually, do that's free, that's a first step,
Hmm.
is I've discovered that becoming my own best friend has
Mm.
been imperative, and that means sitting with myself when I'm struggling and not just pushing away the feelings and avoiding and moving on and doing something else, not shaming myself for being scared, but
Mm.
really, like, recognizing those feelings and imagining I was my own best friend, and how would my best friend relate to me? Because we're so hard on
Mm.
ourselves,
Yeah.
but if I can treat myself like I would my best friend,
Yeah.
I'd be like, "Oh, man, you're struggling. What do you need? How can I
Hmm.
support you?" Instead of
Wow.
like, "Don't be scared. Move on."
Get
Like,
right.
yeah. So I think there's a certain tenderness and compassion and an ability, if we can learn to be with ourselves and our crazy thoughts and our feelings and not need to run away from them, then we
Hmm.
connect more deeply with ourselves. And from there, we can move through.
Through. Mm. Man, that's
Yeah.
deep. I appreciate you taking the time to really, because I try to use this platform to, we try to educate, empower, and impact, but sometimes the world that we live in now has changed so much over the last 5 years. and just the self-doubt, the self-hate, the looking in the mirror, the questioning, am I good enough? I think it's important that we use this space sometimes to really talk through. And if someone, who hears this or watches this, I'm a big proponent of, if they can walk away and know, hey, Aliyah, she did this. She's feeling how I feel, and she's still working through it. And it shows them that, this can be done. It's a work in progress. And if one person can walk away, with a different mindset, um, I think I think we've done our job. And it's
A
just one
hundred
person at a
percent.
time. So
100%. I love that about the show, and I'm so in alignment with that. I mean, I have a podcast, as you know, as well,
hmm
that
which we're gonna talk about. Hmm
yes, yes, yeah, that's what we endeavor to do, is to help
hmm
people, yeah, be equipped with the tools and the resources to be able to really live their juiciest best life,
hmm
which
I
is
love it.
what I'm all about.
The juiciest best life. I love it.
Yeah.
So before we get to the podcast,
Yeah.
let's get back to Aaliyah and acting, right?
Okay.
So you were on CW's Supernatural, Legends of Tomorrow. You were also I actually like the show, and I don't know what happened, but ABC's was the Rookie Blues,
Mhm.
and Takes Two, and you were on several other things. Now, these characters and everything that you played were so diverse, in so many different ways. And I know we just talked about like how you kind of deal with getting over anxiety, but when you actually go read for a script or once you've gotten a role, like
Mhm.
how do you really delve in and to really develop that character? How does that work for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of evolved over time, but I would say the basis of how I approach a character is first really figuring out, who is she? What does she want? Like, what are her
Mm.
core desires? And what is she scared of? What's getting in her way? And then I look at how I have those those things, those core desires, those trip ups, like, because we're not that different.
Right,
I might
right.
be playing like a badass alien on
Mhm.
Legends of Tomorrow,
Right,
or like, a nerdy gay forensic pathologist on Rookie Blue,
right.
but at our core desires, they're they're very similar, you
Yeah.
know? So it's just attaching to that, and if it's something that feels sort of out of my realm, then you just use your imagination.
Mm. So even when you do your role, sometimes like do you touch on maybe someone maybe in your life or someone that maybe you've come across that you think, hey, let me try this, or maybe this person's character or this person's quirkiness might actually help fill in something that maybe you yourself personally may not resonate with, but
Yeah,
just try.
yeah, so it's always a bit different, like, depending, because sometimes the characters are, like, really out there, they're
Uh,
not really like you, and then you just play, and you just try shit that feels fun and good, you know?
uh,
Um, and if the character because I'm playing now, now I'm more auditioning for and playing, lead roles, which are usually more similar to who I am as a
mhm,
person,
mhm,
then it's really just about, this is something that, like, if any actor is listening to this and you're newer as an actor, it took me so bloody long to figure out that instead of reading a character description in an audition and being like, what do they want? What can I
mhm,
how can I give them what they want?
mhm,
The question is, what do I want to do with this? What do I, Aliyah O'Brien, what's my version of this
mhm,
character?
mhm.
And that is always going to be the better version. Always.
Wow.
Even if you don't get the part, it's gonna land with them in a way that's gonna make them keep you in mind. I've had so
Mm.
many. I mean, Rookie Blue is a prime example of a show I auditioned for 5, 6 times before they were like, let's just give her a role." Like, they gave me the role because it was like, I'd proven myself, and they just were waiting for the right lineup. And that's the thing, as
Mm.
actors, we always
Mhm.
feel like, in the beginning, it's like, "Oh, I didn't get the part because I'm not good enough." No, you just weren't the right
Right.
fit.
Fit.
So,
Yeah.
but
Mm.
do your version. Always
I
in
love that.
life, do your version.
And see, and that's where because I see with you the parallel, like everything, whether it be life, work, you play hard, whatever it is, the message that's coming through loud and clear is be authentic you, and no matter what. And I think that's really hard in today's society to do that. Um, but then I want to transition then, Aaliyah, because I'm gonna go off the wall here for a second.
Please do.
Because you have like I said, the energy that's electric, right? So everybody has an animal character. right?
Ooh.
Everybody has this animal character, this animal energy, and
Uh-huh.
mine is kind of easy, and it's kind of by nature because most people who probably tell you that know me, so I'm a bull. I'm a Taurus by nature, and it just
Ah, me
kind of
too.
you see, okay. So sometimes I just come in, I clear the room, I'm flipping tables, but I don't care. So I know that that's my natural, uh, you know, character, my animal character. But if
Yeah.
I had to pick another, I would go with a hawk. I believe in
Mhm.
flying high, soaring high. I love the regalness, the beauty of it, and that would just be my alternate. Um, but if I had to ask you, what would be your animal character?
Okay, well, my spirit animal is the unicorn.
Okay.
And I mean, call it mystical, whatever. I think Scotland's actual national animal is the unicorn, by the way.
Okay.
So
Okay.
hey, they believe. They believe. Um, but it's because it's the magical, unicorns fly. There's this
Uh-huh.
like freedom and it's magic. I'm all
Mhm.
about magic. I'm all about like the magic of life, the magic of my life has been an unfolding of one synchronistic connection after another. And I'm like, how can you not believe in magic when there's
Mm.
so much beauty in the world? And so I do really associate with the unicorn, but also like you, I have the eagle is my other like sort of spirit animal that I've actually been told in like psychic readings.
Oh wow.
They've told me that like you have an eagle spirit animal,
Really?
and eagles are supposed to be similar to hawks. They fly higher than any of the other
Mm-hmm.
birds.
Mm-hmm.
So there's sort of this association with this spirituality, like being closer to the other realms, the
Realms. Yes.
otherworldly sort of. So
Mm-hmm.
there's something about, and I mean, like my whole MO in this lifetime and for everyone is, like you said, it's authenticity, but authenticity for me really means freedom to be
Mm.
truly you. And so there's
Mm-hmm.
something about the flying, the freedom, the
Yep.
soaring.
Yep.
Yeah, eagle all the way.
See, yeah, see, for those of y'all who don't get it, see, this Taurus connect. That's really what it is. For those you see, didn't even know, didn't even say, you will never get this unless you're Taurus. So all my
Totally. We're
Taurus
both
fans,
rooted and grounded and also otherworldly.
see, and that's so true. That is so true. I love it. Who would have known? Um, so I want to try. I want to switch gears for a second because we did mention you two are a podcast host. You have your own show, I believe that you co-host,
Mhm.
and it's called This Juicy Life, if I'm correct.
Correct.
Now,
Yes.
look, you got to give us the juice on the Juicy Life and how that all gets started, how that come about, and what's the premise of what you and your co-host do on your show.
Oh my gosh, where do I even start? Okay, so this Juicy Life is co-hosted by myself and my best friend Lauren McConnell,
Okay.
and really, what we endeavor to do, we're obsessed with living our juiciest life and helping other people live their juiciest life. And a juicy life is different for everybody. Like
Mm-hmm.
defines juicy is going to be different for everybody, but there are through lines and themes. And really, what we're looking for is like, what are the ingredients to a juicy, joyful, meaningful life? And then how do we actually integrate them so that we are living our best life today?
Mm.
That's what we're focused on. And also, even more so, how does you, like Damon, Aliyah, living our juiciest lives, how does that affect those around us
Around us.
and then the greater collective? Because it
Mm.
does. And I think there's this misnomer that prioritizing our joy, prioritizing our our self-care, or just like living our best life, that's somehow selfish, or we don't have time for it, or whatever. But
True.
like if I'm a mother and I'm making space to, just taking moments to tune in and really make sure that I'm living my most joyful life and taking care
Mm-hmm.
of myself,
Mm-hmm.
that's going to affect my children. That's going to affect how my children grow up and how they
Yeah.
affect everyone in there
Yeah.
that they encounter. I mean,
So true.
it's so important. And so it's
Mm-hmm.
not a like a frivolous surface level thing. It's like, this is our life. Like this is what we're here for. Like, let's make the
I love
most out
that.
of it.
I really love that because it's so true. How you take care of yourself first, and how you really, I guess, reset your center and your core does have a huge impact on how you interact and how you relate to other and the energy that you give off to others. And I have to be honest. For those who know, 10 years ago, give it, I almost lost my life, and found out I was diabetic. I was in the hospital for 10 days, and I remember the doctor saying to my wife, If you're a praying woman, pray for your husband because they didn't think I was going to make it.
Wow.
And the reason why I say I understand what you're saying is because when I came out, and well, before that, I can remember saying to God, now, not to say I'm not a prayerful man. I believe in something greater than me. But I remember sitting there looking at my wife and my daughter, and I'm saying, Lord, I know there has to be something else that you want me to do. This can't be it.
Yeah.
I get out, I smell. My sense of smell is different. I see people differently. I see people in shades, and this is why I say, like, just not knowing you, but how we researched you and just the way that you appeared. You appear in color, very vivid. These are the type of things that I draw to, that I'm attracted to, and I've learned to through this situation. I've learned how to recenter myself, reset myself. I know that not to say I was a bad person, but you learn how to reset your energy. The way that you move, how you interact. And I love what you said because that's big because now that ripple effect,
Mhm.
you see it with others. And it's really, really important. And that I love that now you're doing this with your friend.
Mhm.
If people have one friend in life nowadays, you're doing great things. And so
Mhm.
how does your friend, feel like that do you guys like kind of have the same mantra, the same pattern? Like do you guys, do the same things together? Like, because like crystals, beads, whatever it is, like I mean, I'm not, and I say it like we said we laugh,
Yeah.
but do these things come into play too where, this kind of helps?
Yeah.
And is she as electric as you are and as funny as you are?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. We were having these kinds of conversations on our own together
Mhm.
all the time, and so we were like, "Well, we need to make this a podcast. We need to be talking about this with other people. Other
Mhm.
people, we want other people to be in on these conversations,
Mhm.
and we wanna be having these conversations with other people," which is another lovely byproduct of podcasting is, like,
Yep.
you make new friends, you get to
Yep.
connect and dance in other people's awesome, juicy energy, and it fuels and inspires you, and then it fuels and inspires the collective. So,
I
we're
love it.
doing it right now. It's so
That
like
right.
I get goosebumps saying
Look,
that.
I
You
do. Like real talk. This is like one of the best conversations that I've had with somebody. I just made a new friend, and
Yeah,
it's the reality of it is like when you can jive and you can be in tune with someone. That's what it's all about. And
that's what it's all about.
you want to keep passing that energy along, and that's what it's
Yeah.
all about. So I love that, and I'm going to make sure before we go, I'm going to ask you to share that information because I want to make sure that our followers become your followers and
Thank
check
you.
you out and check your show out.
And I will be sure to share you all over the place too once
Thank
this
you,
comes out. Absolutely.
thank you.
And I just wanna touch on because I really appreciate you sharing your story about, being close to death with diabetes, and I think that's such a beautiful example of taking a situation like that and really pivoting and really leaning into your juiciest life. And then now look at what you've created and what
Hmm.
you're continue to create and how you show up in your day to day and how you said everything smells differently and you see things differently and you see in color and it's I
Hmm.
get goosebumps saying it. And what I want to add to that is don't wait till you're almost dying. Like anyone listening to this, don't wait till you're almost dying. Like now, juicy living
And
can start now. And it starts small, but it will grow and ripple
I
and
could
it will be a game changer.
I cannot tell you um how true that is because even this was not even my idea. Really, and I've said this before on the show. This was my wife's idea, and because of that,
Brilliant woman.
mm, brilliant without question. The boss is the boss, and she's brilliant. Thank you, Lord. But it was one of those things where it was her. We used to get together Friday nights. All these civil unrest that was going on here in the country. And she said to me, some friends of ours, we used to get together every Friday night, and we'd be on a Zoom call till 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. And it became a thing. What could we do? My wife, she's in the corner, not saying, she's like, look, why don't you start a podcast? You be the voice of what you guys are doing. I'm looking at her like, are you crazy? I'm like, she's like, no. She said, really. She said, think about what I'm saying. She said, you're a different man now. She said, you give a different energy. You're coming from a different place. And she said, I don't know what it is. You've had this renaissance thing, and I can only attribute it to that one thing. And that one thing, it changed my entire life. And I mean that. And you're right. Don't wait. If there's something that you want to do, do it. Don't
And
wait.
you chose to change your life too. Like that's, you
Mm,
could have had that experience and just, gone on kind of like living your long, a miserable existence or what,
mm-hmm.
your unhealthy existence, whatever you want to call it for
Yep.
as long as you could. But
Yep.
you made a whole series of choices to see the world differently, to do
Mm,
things differently that's led to this moment today.
yep.
And that is what it's all about, that we have the choice to
To,
choose. And
right.
so, I mean, obviously our circumstances are always different, but we always have a choice to choose a little bit better, a little bit more, joy, a little bit something like love over fear. Like there's always a
Right.
little choice, and it's a series of little choices.
That's all it is. I love it. So look, we will. So here in the states, when this airs, it's going to be the holidays. It's around the holidays,
Oh, okay.
holiday season. And I'm
Hmm.
just going to ask one or two questions because I know you're from Canada, our friends and family up north,
Hmm.
and I know you guys celebrate the holidays a little bit differently.
Mm.
Now, with that said, I tried to simplify these questions and try to think outside the box. So what I did was, if for the holidays, if or not even the holidays, let's just make this for the rest of your life. Let's just say you're stuck on an island, but you could have one thing delivered that you can eat every single day. Now, I don't know if you like pizza. I don't know if you like hamburgers. Don't even know if you like Chinese fried rice. But if you could have one, it doesn't have to be any of these. Choose anyone.
This is the meanest question ever. One thing? Oh my God. How am I supposed to choose? Oh gosh. I would have said, if this was like a year ago, I would have said peanut butter. I was obsessed with peanut butter and I could just eat that forever. Like that would be it. I'd die happy just eating peanut butter the rest of my life. But I've kind of moved on from peanut
Mhm.
butter. And I'm on a real pancake kick right now.
Okay.
So, that could be in there. But I think if I had one food, like, I'm a bit of a health nerd.
Okay.
I do like vegetables. So I probably would say like Thai curry or Indian curry, like
Okay.
some kind of curry, because you got lots of flavor,
Flavor.
spices, different things happening. You got carbs, you got your rice, you got your meat of choice. If you eat meat, like for me, there would be some fish or something in there,
Right.
and all your vegetables, and you got some flavor. Although, I mean, God, for the rest of my life, I probably really would get tired of Thai green curry or something like that. It's a really
Okay.
hard question. It's the
So
hardest question I've ever had on a podcast.
okay, hey, look, hey, I was going in deep. I was going hard, trying to
You
be
went so deep.
creative. I was trying to be creative. So then I tell you what. So
I love
all right,
food,
one
so
one
that's
other,
that's why.
one other then, because the seasons are a little different. Probably, where we are. Over here in the DMV, I'm on the East Coast, and you being in
Mhm.
what's that, British Columbia, Vancouver
Yep,
area.
yep, Vancouver, British
So that's
Columbia,
kind of on
yep.
the what. Yep. So that's over there in Vancouver. So I don't know how your seasons work, but if you could have just one season, favorite season
Oh,
that
this
you
is
that
easy.
favorite season of all time, which season would you prefer to
Th
just have all time?
Yeah, this is easy. Summer, hands down. Sunshine, barefoot, almost no clothes or no clothes. I have a camper van, so I love getting out into nature. I mean, yeah, no problem. Summertime for sure.
I
Yep.
love it. So as we come into the end of this amazing conversation, I hope that you all who are watching or even listening really got to get a better introduction to Aliyah O'Brien. Great person, um, celebrity, actress, might as well be a model and all these other things, but she's a great person. And that's the one thing that I walk away with. And Aliyah, before we close out, I just want to go ahead and take a moment to allow you to share your social media so that we can make sure we'll put it all in the notes so everyone go out and follow you and all the work that you're doing.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. I can't even believe we're done this conversation. I could talk to you for hours.
Thank you.
My social media is on Instagram. I'm at Aliyah O'Brien, ALIYAH OBRIEN. I haven't quite gotten onto TikTok yet. That's a whole thing. And what else? My website's aliyahobrien.com, and our podcast Instagram is at Juicy Life Co. And the podcast is called This Juicy Life, and it's on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and pretty much anywhere you can find podcasts. And we'd love to have a conversation with you about juicy living.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. the multi-talented, multifaceted, amazing Aliyah O'Brien, who's taking time out of her business. Yes, nothing but love for you. And this is your home too, anytime. Thank you, Aliyah, for taking time out of your busy schedule to sit here and talk with me tonight. It's been amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, that's a wrap here on Two Mics Up. You know how we do all the time. You know, you can follow us on social media, IG, Facebook, and Twitter at Two Mics Up. You can also follow us online at www.twomicsup.com. You can go ahead and follow me right there, your man Dame the NYDC at Dame the NYDC. Don't forget, if you haven't been paying attention, season 4, we are on Mogul TV. You can go ahead and catch this episode and all the latest episodes right there at themoguls.tv. Ladies and gentlemen, you know how we do it this time. I wish you all, and I hope you all, stay safe, stay blessed. Mike's out.
Mwah, mwah, mwah.
007.